So I come to find out through the sessions, the more that you occupy your brain, the more the demons don't have time to come in. So there was another guy that I met. I call him a kid because he's younger than I am. His first name is Jody, last name is Cameron. I'm trying to remember. Oh, Dwight English was the other kid. He was from, I think he was from Jamaica. And Greg comes to me, he goes, hey man, I can't break through with this guy. See if you can, work with him. And I said, all right. So I started working with him and stuff like that. And him and I started becoming really good friends. I got him to open up. He started talking at the meetings. There was a nonprofit organization called Freedom Waters Foundation. And what they did was they worked with Big Brothers Big Sisters, Make-A-Wish Foundation, Lighthouse for the Blind, and they would take these kids out for water therapy. It's what Debbie Franco, the co-founder, would say it's called water therapy.
Yeah, one of my first instances with them was going to take a soldier fishing.
Right. So Dwight English went on one of their first excursions, and it's going to be paddleboarding, sailboating, fishing, whatever. And he said to Debbie, he goes, I see that you have all these special groups, like Big Brothers Big Sisters, Make-A-Wish Foundation. You have anything for veterans? And she goes, no, not really. But since you brought it up, how would you like to spearhead that with us? And so he took on the task because they gave him purpose. Like I said, if you occupy your brain, the bad thoughts stay out. So Dwight English started the veterans program at Freedom Waters Foundation. And I think they had like maybe six trips that were already planned. And they would reach out to the veterans community, and people, 20 service members would say, well, we're going to be there, and one or two will show up, because that's what part of PTSD is. You self-isolate, you don't want to leave the house, it's because you're hypersensitive.
I think you told me once that your kids were shopping for you. You wouldn't leave the house for a while.
My friends were shopping for me, yeah.
Right, you wouldn't leave the house,
I
right?
had a very low tolerance for stupid people. Like if somebody was arguing because they got charged 2 pennies over, and it's just like, tying up the line for 2 pennies. It's just, something you don't want to deal with.
Yeah.
So he started since we became good friends, and every time he would stay at my place if he was in town, man could cook some badass curry. So he would cook curry for me while he was staying at my place. So I got him out of the shell, and he got more involved with Freedom Waters operations. And then he says, hey man, every time I invite you out, you say you're coming, you never come out. And then this is when I had my last third surgery, and I still had staples in my back. And I said, you know what? I'll come out. I'll give you my word. I'll come out on this last one, because he said he was moving back to Colorado, and he got a job in the VA working for the clinic for PTSD in Colorado. So so he did it well. So I showed up to his last boat ride on my first veterans boat ride. And Debbie Franco, she believes in natural healing. She likes to, she's a very touchy feeling. And she went to give me a hug. Can I give you a hug? I said, don't touch me. I got staples in my back. I just had back surgery. She goes, well, when we get on board, she goes, I want to heal you with my hands. Is that okay? And I said, yeah. So Debbie Franco and I became great friends. I volunteered for the group for 9 years. And then I was, since the VA didn't want to give me my third surgery, I had to go out on my own and find a doctor that gave me my third surgery. And he says, I don't work with the military insurance, but I'll work with you since you just got home from Iraq and stuff. So his name was Dr. Gerber. And Dr. Gerber, I think he was within the top 10 of neurosurgery in the country. And I was very blessed to find him. And he took care of me. He gave me my third surgery. And I had it on June 19th. I'm sorry, I had it on June 11th. And September of that year, I think it was 2008. 4 months later, I got dressed up in my uniform, my combat boots, 30-pound rucksack, an American flag. and I marched.
I remember that.
I marched from the
To the
VA in
VA.
Naples and Horseshoe Drive to the VA in Cape Coral.
I remember
And
that.
I got news coverage from Link TV, and I got coverage from the Naples newspaper at that time. That's no longer here. I guess it's called Naples Press now. So they would show up on my walk. And people thought I was crazy that I was going to do this.
You are crazy.
And so I got dressed up, and sure enough, I did the walk. And from there, I was on the front page of the newspaper, gave the VA a black eye. And ever since then, the VA treated me with a kid glove. If I called and said I needed an appointment for something, I had it the next day. From there, I got called into a restaurant called Cirillo's Italian Bistro and Sushi Bar in Bonita, and they wanted for me to do a fundraising dinner once a year. Mike Cirillo was going to give me the restaurant, half of the restaurant for the fundraiser. And so I took on a task with Kristen Peterson. She was the restaurant manager, and we ran with it for 9 years. I'm doing the Freedom Waters, and I'm doing my dinners every October. And come to find out, I become president of the Veterans Council for Collier County.
There you go.
And then
Which I've been a member of also for about
from there, I did that for about 9
17 years, I think.
You came on board, and then I was still doing my dinners. I was still doing the Freedom Waters Foundation. And then I joined another group called Home Base of Southwest Florida with 4-star General Fred Franks, which was in charge of the 3rd Armored Division during the storm. He was the right-hand man to Schwarzkopf and Colin Powell. So he lives in Naples, and he runs the... so I ended up taking a lot of phone calls from a lot of service members that wanted to take their lives. And, 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, I would answer my phone. And after a while, I started getting burned out because a lot of them would end up taking their lives. So I kind of dropped out of the Freedom Waters Foundation. Then I dropped out of the Veterans Council as president. Chief Carl took over, and then I stopped doing the dinner. And then the only one I've to this day I still stick with is the Home Base of Southwest Florida, which we partnered up with David Lawrence. They give us free mental health now. Lee Memorial gives us free mental health through the program. The YMCA gives you 1 free membership to any service member that goes through the program. And if we deem that you're still having problems, we'll fly you and your significant other to Boston, Mass General, for a 15-day ICP, which is intensive care program. And within those 15 days, they'll adjust your medication. You do group session. You do marriage counseling your first 4 hours of the day. You belong to the hospital and their clinicians, and after that, you're on your own. But you don't pay for anything.
And that's actually done through the Boston Red Sox, correct?
And it's the Boston Red Sox Foundation, which is partnered up with Mass General. So now we got Lee Health down here giving us free mental health. David Lawrence gives us mental health. And we're based out of FGCU. We have a veterans library there. Only veterans you get to use the library. Just so you can be isolated from the general population. And Professor Pratt, his son, used to play, I think he still plays for the NFL. He was a punter. Matt Pratt was the punter. So they've actually are partnered up with us with FGCU. So they're like our liaison between FGCU and so
Awesome.
that's what keeps me sane.
Guys, you heard that there's different organizations that he's used that you might want to use also. We'll try and get that at the bottom of the page so you can go ahead and reach out to these organizations for your self help and your sanity. All right. So now, Freddie, I want to thank you for your time, your effort, your courage, and your sacrifice for you and your family. We really appreciate you, and thank you for being here and giving us your story. Last of all, I want all you soldiers, sailors, airmen, Marines, Coast Guards, whatever Space Force, whatever group you are with, reach out to your battle buddies, because the life you saved might be his because he hasn't hurt anybody and is lonely, sitting there with a gun on his lap, and you call him, and all of a sudden he decides not to take his life. So please reach out to your battle buddies, and if you're suffering in silence, seek help. You cannot beat this disease alone. So this is Sergeant Kerr with Outside the Wire, out.